If you have two, even one case study, you'll be able to leverage this funnel to generate millions of dollars like I have. My name's Connor. I built a consulting and implementation company doing $2.5 million in client revenue in less than a year. And this is the exact funnel I've been using with my team and with my clients to generate these results. I'm going to be walking you through the exact funnel, the content to actually generate the conversions, and what onboarding actually looks like so you can implement it yourself and get to those 5 and 6 figure months like our clients are getting. So to start it off, we have the actual funnel itself. It's a very simple funnel, and it will get a bit complicated when it comes to actually walking through it, but it's very easy to understand. So we have organic content at the very top of the funnel. You can either layer paid ads on top of that as a paid traffic source, or go extremely broad with your content reels. These reels can be infinite in number. I've only got 3 listed right now because you just need to be creating broad content and then finding the outliers towards your niche and reposting them as trial reels. If you don't know how to repost trial reels, take your existing high performing content, change the sound, speed it up by 0.1, slow it down by 0.1, and change the font, the title, the caption, any of it, even mirror the image, and Instagram will see it as the exact same image or video. So you can actually get better and better results. For example, I posted the same reel multiple times. We've done 70K on one, we've done 40K on another, thousands upon thousands of just rinsing and repeating the same video over and over again. And as you'll see, when we get to the actual conversion content, we've generated millions of views just from using this method alone. So it's very, very simple. You have organic content or paid ads going into your organic content, which directs everyone to your Instagram profile. On your Instagram profile, you want to have highlights, so stories, highlights, client results, and a start here highlight. You also want to have short form content that will break down over here when it comes to the actual conversion types of content. You want to then funnel everyone on your profile who's watching your short form content, who's looking at your highlights and your story sequences, into your long form on your YouTube. And your YouTube is where you'll actually start driving actual converting traffic. This is where you can leverage a game plan, which is a dynamic asset that we build out for every single client towards their niche to sign more high quality prospects. From the game plan or the long form, you get a booked call. This can be as simple as a Calendly link in the PDFs on the game plan on the website, or in the description of the YouTube videos. So very simple. If they don't close, you have a second call. And if they do close, well, then they're onboarded. You build a roadmap with them, and then we implement and scale our clients. So we build a roadmap from where they're at right now, whether that be 5K a month or 50K a month. We find out where they're leaking, what their bottlenecks are, how we can fix it, what we implement, and then by about month 12, they've 2x'd or 10x'd their revenue. Very simple way of going about it. But this is where you layer on more. If you have people interacting on your profile and they are positively interacting and engaging with your content, then start a conversation with them, either as a setter or as the actual brand owner. That way you can then either funnel them directly to a booked call, directly to a nurturing long form asset, or to the game plan, which is the dynamic asset. And I'll walk through what each of these look like for my brand and how you can build one similar for yourself. At the same time, you can be getting the initial traffic through ads or just organic content, which is carousel, video, or static ads. And you can be leveraging retargeting ads. These two are in orange because they are add-ons. You don't need to be running them to get the most out of this system. When you get to 40 or 50K a month is when you layer them on. Very simple. As well, if someone doesn't book in the second call and they don't close, then you put them in through the follow-up sequence with yourself or your setter, which then navigates them back through your content all the way back down into booking a call. So they start here and they end up down here, back at the book call, back going through their tailored asset to nurture them, convert them, and show them that you are the industry leader in their niche. That's the general idea. Now let's actually get into what the content looks like, because it's very important when you have attention, you actually nurture and channel that attention to the right places to make the most amount of money possible. Let's be honest here. So if we look at just what my content is doing, and we'll look at story sequences here right now, this is my entire highlight system. I have 1 story, 2 story, 3 story, 4 story, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stories just on one singular highlight, and you can view it right here. So what this is my entire start here highlight that shows people exactly who I am, what I went through, how I grew up, and what we're doing now. For example, in 2023, I was actually a broke kid working at KFC, and now we've built and scaled this consulting company, originally an agency, into doing 300K a month for our clients, right? It wasn't always like this, so I've been doing photography, trading, landscaping, dropshipping since I was 14, trying everything until building an SMMA and then packaging all of my knowledge and expertise into a done with you implementation offer, which is what Brand OS is. Now, we're going to do 4 million a year, and that's just from implementing these growth systems for businesses. And it's because I actually just focused on making my clients hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we are easily going to do millions. Right now, we've already done 2.5, and these are just a few highlights that I use in the highlight reel, in the story sequence, where we did a 36K e-com drop, we did 17K days for agency owners, we did a 14 to 34K a month info offer transition. So they came to us, they were stuck at 14K a month. We reworked exactly how they were delivering and marketing that offer, and now they're at 34K a month, and they're going to be climbing up to the 90K a month mark very soon, as well as 15 other businesses scouted in the last 6 months. So this actually just breaks down exactly who we are, where I'm from, what we provide, the timeline, and who we've helped. So it actually walks through. We even have client testimonials and videos from calls layered in here to add extra nurture. Then we have a ManyChat automation at the end of this. So we take on 4 people per quarter to maximize client results, reply Brand OS to hop on a call with me and my team to get started. That's the general layout, and you just want to be spamming these over and over and over again. So you have a start here, then you have client results, then you have client results, then you have how you implement the actual service. You just want to have more and more story sequences consistently talking about who you are, what you do, what you're up to, what the day-to-day looks like, as well as client results and more journeys and goals and everything like that, and the actual timeline between onboarding a client, building their roadmap, implementing and seeing where they scale to with organic and with paid media. So when we actually go back to here, we look at the conversion content, and it's really important to actually just see how we get that attention. So right now, this top of funnel engagement is what these 3 reels at the top are going to be. For example, for mine, it was a lot of office and lifestyle content because I had an office in a warehouse. So we were doing millions and hundreds of thousands of views just off of the content that I was posting about my life and about the area I was working in. For example, you can even see here in December we did 4.4 million views, and then we rounded it off in January at 4.7, as well as multiple, still keeping it consistent 100K months in terms of views, which then books in about 50 to 60 calls a month. So very simple, that's the math. Then you take people, they see what you're doing with your life, and this isn't lifestyle marketing, this is just documenting. Because I'm a strong believer in saying that your best content is things that have already happened in your life, you haven't documented it yet. So when you can come and record and sit down and talk about your lived experiences and how you've helped people, that makes it really easier to nurture future clients. So now we actually get into the middle of funnel nurturing content. And this is where we actually see more lower views, instead of 2.1 mil or 600K, we see 10K or 70K or 74K, right? And this is all about just helping people understand the value we bring to the market. At this point, the ideal buyer has already seen our top of funnel content. They know what we're doing. So they're seeing the middle of funnel content. They're seeing our story sequences, which is part of the bottom funnel channeling content. They see our story sequences. They see our bottom of funnel reels and posts and carousels. And then that funnels them to a long form or a dynamic asset is the idea. So ideally, the buyer has gone all the way through our content. They see, the high view, high engagement content about me, my life, my team, and the actual services we provide. They get educated. And then the bottom of funnel content is all about how we deliver it, what our clients are doing result-wise, and certain niche key topics and methods that they can implement themselves, like this profile funnel. So then we actually look at my Instagram profile because it takes them all the way to here, right? And you think it's pretty general, but then that's when you see the highlights, where they start here, and the results. And obviously, as time goes on and I have more and more and more client results, there'll be more highlight reels as we go on. There'll be 10s and 20s and even 100s maybe in the future, just showing exactly who we've helped, how they've scaled, where they're at now. And you can see, very simple with my bio, that it is just very easy to understand. I scale companies with ads and the profile funnel and consulting. We've done $2 million in track revenue at 19 years old, and you can watch the journey, which then takes them to a YouTube video, which is a client call. In fact, it is this video right here, a live 8K client call with my oldest client, right? And he's a service-based business owner. He's a gym owner, and we've helped him scale. He's bought his dream car, and I'll go into all of that later on in the video. But it's really easy to understand that this is a very general layout. I have 3K followers, right? And I started using this at about 1,000 followers. And it's allowed me to just stay lean on the content side of things, but scale more on the back end and generate higher quality followers. So followers have a higher buyer intent instead of just followers who unfollow you after 3 weeks. Higher buyer intent followers who actually, out of my entire audience, have a large chance of converting, right? I think about from qualified follower to booked call, it's about 40% out of the total numbers that we're actually running. So it's very easy to go through and use this stack where I help X with this. This is how much we've generated. Here is a case study or a link to something valuable. Then you have the start here highlight and the results highlights, as well as just general photos of what you get up to in your life. I'm big into cars and I'm around supercars all the time. I'm traveling for work. I'm going to London to meet with clients and deliver my services. So it's very important that you just have clean content that tells people exactly what you do. Now, story sequences. I've already shown you what that generally looks like, and it's all about this, going through your actual story. But you need to be extremely consistent with these. I try and post a story once a day. It doesn't have to be nurturing, it doesn't have to be value-based, but it just has to keep myself at the front of people's minds. So when someone's scrolling Instagram and they see me again, they associate what I'm talking about with their problems. So once they actually realize, oh, I have this bottleneck in my company. Oh, I have this hiring problem. Oh, our content positioning isn't great and we're not generating consistent leads. And they're constantly seeing story sequences and stories every single day about how I'm solving those problems for my clients and generating hundreds and millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars from it. Then they go through and they actually look at where those story sequences are channeling them to. And most of the time it is a long form content. And in the long form content, we have all sorts of videos, right? So this is my business channel. It's very small, 68 subscribers, but it goes through how I'm scaling founders to 300K a month and how we're going to be actually meeting them in person doing client retreats. It goes over my $0 to $2 million in 8 months, my entire story, starting this business, pivoting to a consulting offer, and generating hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars for clients. It talks about how I ran in with a billionaire and everything he taught me when I was 18 years old, going through my last year of high school. We've got vlogs showing the exact raw day in the life of a 7-figure agency owner. We have client calls. We have very top of funnel, easy to understand videos that guide people through problems. We have niche videos talking about secret content strategies. For example, high quality cinematic branded videos to market your product as an e-com brand. We have more vlogs of me traveling to Europe. We have story sequence videos on how 3% of your audience are the only percentage of your audience that will actually buy from you, and you can capitalize on that 3% by posting story sequences. We have how I'm going to scale my clients to $2 million a year in client revenue. This was a month ago, right? And we've already done it. So it just goes to show, literally 5 days ago, I posted a video of me explaining how we did it. And a month ago, I was talking about how I'm planning on doing it. So you have to follow through as well. We have another video, how a 19-year-old built a $1 million agency from nothing. How to scale past 20K a month with e-com or info, right? Another vlog, 3 weeks in the life running a 7-figure agency. We have some of my oldest videos 3 months ago where I just started posting content and I had no idea how to do this properly. But we have videos that I used to send as assets in my outreach to warm clients, warm outreach prospects. For example, to mobile detailers, I was sending this video, how I made a mobile detailer $7,186 in 7 days. This is when we were still running the agency. And now during that time and earlier, we pivoted to Done With You as well. So it's another one. The onboarding system that makes $79,099 a month, and how we have zero churn. We have 0 clients that have ever left the agency, and the consulting offer purely because we provide the best value possible, and then we implement and teach the business owners how to do it themselves, right? So when we come back to here, they go through the long form, right? And they actually reach a point where they get to the dynamic asset. It's the top of every YouTube description we have. It's set as the basic. It is, here is the dynamic asset. This is who we are and how much we've generated. Here is the application link to book in a call and work with my team to actually apply, see if you can be one of the 4 per quarter. And then it's my Instagram. So if anyone has any questions as well, which helps in the nurturing process, they can DM me. And then that allows me to either close them over DM, which we do quite often now, or answer their questions. So then they go into the call already a lot more likely to close. Then through the dynamic asset, which is what this looks like, where they get their free personalized growth system game plan to scale their business without guesswork. And then we actually have client results on the front page. And it's just a simple quiz funnel where we figure out exactly where you're at in your monthly revenue and what your bottleneck is. And then we build a custom PDF breaking down that problem using actual data from clients with that same problem at that same monthly revenue mark to work back and give you everything you need to solve it, right? Then after filling out that form here, they're then directed to actually book in a call or download the PDF, right? And if we hop on the call, that's perfect. We did 78 calls in the last month. But if they don't book in, then we simply follow up, because now we can apply every single follow-up sequence we know and give them as much value as possible through the long form assets, through the story sequences, through the highlights, and through more dynamic asset value, to the point where they just call and either close in DMs. I've had closes in WhatsApp group chats with random referrals who have never met me before, purely because of just the content that we create and how much value we actually provide with our personalized game plans and with our roadmaps. And then we get onboarding. So people pay in full, people pay for other people. That's what this is. This is literally one guy paying for 2 people to get onboarded, and other payments like this. And then we just scale results. We get our clients onboarded, we build a game plan, and we actually guide them through how they're going to do certain things, depending on their bottleneck, depending on their niche. whether they want to be the industry leader or just an underdog that takes every single missing client that the industry leader isn't capturing. And we've worked with interesting people. We've had Nick Setting, for example, reach out, talking to us about our offer. We have famous YouTubers following the Instagram account and the personal brand purely because of the content we create to provide as much value and actually bring in as much attention as possible. And it's lean. 4 million views is nothing in the game of content, but it just shows that when you can do 92K in a single month just from implementing solid revenue growth systems for people's businesses, it's so easy. For example, we scaled that info product to 34K a month, and they're on the up to 80 and 90K a month, definitely by August. We've had clients buying M3s. We've had clients, this is the gym owner, Jared, who literally bought a Honda Type R after maybe having to actually move location to a smaller gym due to the lease. Now he's bought his dream car, he's buying new equipment, and he actually needs to find a bigger place to actually train all of his clients. We've got more screenshots of people booking in their first leads literally hours into getting onboarded, right? So for example, I'm excited, got a lead scheduled for tomorrow evening from one of the ads that they were running. Keep up the good work, I appreciate you. So this is actually what happens when you package all of your knowledge into a done with you service and you get people results as quick as possible. Yes, we've had people get clients booked in within the first few hours of being onboarded, but usually we see a solid ROI within the first month or two, right? We have more ads, we have more screenshots. Hey Connor, going to have to turn the ads off as we're getting too much work. This was a contractor who actually wanted to just take his time away from the business, focus on actually just booking out his entire team with jobs. And this is actually when he started leveraging the ads, that normal ads to bring in traffic and the retargeting ads to actually nurture and convert missed leads of his content, right? And another one, hey Connor, just booked in 5 new jobs from the ads. And this was the same client after he got an iPhone. But yeah, it just goes to show when you provide as much value as possible, you build a clear roadmap, you have the industry leaders reaching out to you to connect and get in touch, and you're generating hundreds of thousands, 5 figures minimum per client, and $2.5 million in client results going to be full by the end of the year. It just shows that when you actually have a repeatable system, because this is the general system, this is the actual graph we have that runs people through and you through exactly what happens and how you can build out something similar for your clients. So we have a starting point. This is when someone comes to us, they have inconsistent leads, low conversion, they're stuck at 5K a month, right? So what we do is we actually just audit what they're doing based on their bottleneck and their niche. We set a revenue target, we refine their offer, and then we build the entire growth roadmap. And this usually takes literally the first call. All of this is done within the first call. I say 1 to 2 weeks because it's relaxed and it gives our competition time to think that we're slow. But in reality, we get that nailed in the first call. Then, once their positioning is complete, so their offer's refined, they actually know what type of content they need to be creating because their niche has clarity, their authority, they're an authoritative figure through their content, and their brand is positioned as premium. Then we go through, we have the full profile funnel implemented, whether it is based on organic content, paid media, or both, and we generate a consistent lead flow system. And this is by about week 1, maybe week 2, depending on how quickly our clients move, right? So by about month 2, we see an average of 1 to 4 clients. And if you're a premium brand charging 8K per client, then you easily make up for whatever you've invested into working with me and my team, right? Now by month 3, our clients are easily doing 20 to 35K a month. And that's just because they have a content engine that's easily compounding. They know how to build a solid content distribution system, whether it's YouTube, long form, digital assets, short form, story sequences. They know exactly what to post, when to post, what problems to solve, and all of those come into play when you're actually in the sales process. If you're on a call and someone's consumed all of your content, then they're extremely easy to close because our clients know exactly what content to distribute to answer every single pain point that comes up in the sales process. And the more calls you have, the more content ideas you can create, because you're taking their objections, turning it into content, right? So we also build out the entire content engine, right? And that's by about week 3. And that's everything done. So it's literally just a regimented plan on exactly what to film when. And by about week 2 as well, we have all of the authority assets done. So if they're running a lead magnet, what case studies they're going to be leveraging from prior clients before building this premium service. What landing page they're running. Are they doing a VSL? Are they doing email? What are they doing? How do we implement it? Then acquisitions. We have direct profile ads. We have the organic inbound that we've already mentioned multiple times, from using outliers and turning them into trial reels. We're using DM conversion to actually close deals over DMs, or we're going through normal Calendly calls. And then at this point we scale and we just focus on retargeting ads, testing new ads to bring in traffic, what new content angles we can do. And then that gets to the point where our clients are making 40, 70, 90K a month, and they need to just delegate and focus on working on the business, not in the business. So that's when SOPs come into play. They have a full custom built dashboard towards exactly what they need to be working on and who they need to be hiring. Do they need a CSM? Do they need a clipper? Do they need an editor? Do they need more setters? Do they need a closer to just hop on calls with them and close for them, right? And that's because they have paid ads and organic working together at scale, and they have the entire system in place. And by about month 12, they've 2x their revenue minimum. We've had clients 10x their revenue. We have clients doing $3 million a month, £3 million, I should say. They're from London. And that's where I literally flew out to London to deliver this to them, met their entire team, met literally their team members' families, went out to dinner with them, and worked on actually delivering this entire system for them. Because when you just build a clear roadmap and it's almost predictable where each client will be and how you can take them to the next step, we find it extremely easy to generate results, because they work less time, they make more money, and they literally spend their time on ads and content and closing. It's a very simple process. And that's why we've been able to do $2.5 million in revenue. So if you think this is actually valuable and you want to be a part of my client base and see how far we can actually scale you, either building out an offer from scratch or scaling your existing one to 40, 50, 100K a month, $1 million a month, we can do it. So apply to work with me and my team with the Calendly link in the description of this video, and I look forward to speaking to you on that call.